Welcome back to our second episode of the VAB track car build. As one of the first steps, we've removed the old engine, which is a new engine, from the car, as there'll be very few parts that we're going to reuse in this track build. So we've removed that and set it up outside of the car so we can transfer the remaining parts that are still needed to be used on this engine, which for example includes a couple brackets and the engine harness. We are also looking at potentially reusing the factory E-throttle body, but this is yet to be confirmed. Most of the other parts are already brand new and improved and better and stronger on this engine, so we won't be using them. Essentially we will end up with mostly a complete engine, and that engine is going to be for sale because it's no longer needed. As you will see behind me, we've also removed most of the front end of the car. The radiator has been removed and will no longer be used. Obviously with this much power and also being a billet block, cooling is going to be a very important part, so that has to be upgraded in all areas. We are going to be running a much thicker, more efficient radiator. Front bumper has been removed as well, and this is, we're going to fit the front mount intercooler core into here. We're also going to fit an oil cooler unit which will be mounted in the front. And we are looking at adding some ducts that can feed the brakes, and also potentially we can reuse some of the factory bumper cowls, like where the fog light could go, to add more airflow into the engine bay. Being a race car, the air conditioning system is no longer needed. It's a way of cleaning up the engine bay and saving some weight. So we've removed the condenser and the compressor, as well as all the piping. The heater unit is going to stay inside the car, so there's still some form of clearing the windscreen and having some heat inside the car. Also on the VAB chassis, it is very nice that the whole front end comes apart, which all the Subaru models, they haven't had that possibility, which makes working on the front of the car a whole lot easier. We have very nice componentry here, so we don't want to create any scratches or damages. So the easier we can work on it and the safer we can work on it, the better. For example, like we can lift the whole front out, and which now allows us to get into the engine bay very easily. With a project of this magnitude, the planning is a very important part. So we have initially spent quite a bit of time preparing and making sure that we have the right parts, the right ideas, doing things in the correct order so things don't have to be redone, just to have a smooth job flow going through all those upgrades. We already have a huge amount of parts here for the build, which we will show you in a second. There's a bunch more coming, which includes a few really nice Imtron components to finish off the electronic side of things. But we'll show you all of that in further episodes in more detail. Also temperatures, so I've already mentioned that cooling is going to be a major concern that needs to be tackled. Keeping the heat away from like brake clutch or steering components is another very important part. So now that we have plenty of space in the engine bay, we've started to make heat shielding. It's easy to do now when there's no engine in there, and then once that's sorted, we can fit the engine in and start working around it and begin the fabrication process. Any turbocharger is producing a lot of heat. Here we have a high power variant that is going to be pushing a lot of power. It's also used in a race application, so there will be long periods of full throttle. It will be lap after lap, so temperature control is very, very important. We are, with this car, going to move the turbo into a higher location with our twisted turbo setup, and that is going to generate a huge amount of heat. So as more of heat shielding and heat protection we can do, the better. So we have wrapped the heat shield around the essential components in that area, which are the ABS unit, the brake mast, the clutch master and the brake booster. So the heat shield that we have prepared is out of 1.5mm stainless steel, and we are also going to ceramic coat it for additional heat resistancy. Behind me we've laid out a bunch of the parts that we are going to be installing very soon. So we can start behind me here. That's the VAB mount set. It's including the stiffer engine mounts, transmission mount and a pitch stop mount. So that's going to stiffen everything up. We've got the Process West's external surge tank that has two Walbro 450 litre per hour fuel pumps in there, so there'll be plenty of supply and in a surge tank. We've also got the oil cooler, which is Process West as well. So we've got the Mantic clutch here. And then we've got stainless steel ceramic coated headers as well. So in the further episodes we're going to continue with what we've just started and keep you all updated with what's happening before the engine will go in. So if you don't want to miss any of the progress on this or any other of our builds, then please make sure that you subscribe and like our YouTube channel, follow us on Instagram and Facebook, and we'll keep you up to date with the next episode soon.